Guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel. And this is our 5 things, we learned from the Chelsea Man City game. I think the first 5 minutes of that game really kind of undid us. I think a lot of these guys came out really nervous. Why? I'm not too sure. I mean, it's a preseason game, and I understand you're playing against Man City, but this is the time for you to just like relax. The game barely started and we're already 2-0 down. So I think that was kind of like the the beginning of just the drubbing. But I think like after the first 5-10 minutes, we kind of got back into the game a bit. We played some decent football. We created a few chances. We should have been a lot more clinical for sure. The chance Enzo Fernandez missed. Madueke had a chance, missed it. Mark Gill had a chance, missed it. These are like the smaller margins, but when you have, an Erling Haaland, playing against you, one chance, one goal. Like it's just what it is. That's the kind of like finishing we definitely don't have in this team. But again, I think with all the links, to Osimhen and whatnot, I think if we could just, we just need to bring in someone personally who I think just gets us like 15 goals a year. 15, 16. I think that's, additional points on top of whatever else we could potentially get. Uh, but it's 4 games in. I think we did a lot better in the previous game against Club America. And I was kind of hoping we carry that momentum into this game. But again, these are the growing pains that are going to come with a new manager, new system, players being played in, different roles, just trying to see who best fits into your plans and whatnot. So I think that's just how it's going to be for a while. But there's a lot of positives to take, from the games we've played. And I'm just gonna go into it. I think like for me, the first thing is, Lavia is going to be very key. We have definitely missed, Romeo Lavia as of last year. I think he played that one game against Palace, and then we never saw him again. And in preseason, he honestly has looked like he has been our best midfielder. Again, you can put that down to like him being already here earlier than a lot of these midfielders. He's going through preseason, um, and early team training. You know what I mean? So for him, he's looking a lot sharper. He's looking a lot fitter, and it's exciting because I think just having some another option in this team that we never had before just gives us something different. And so far, he's looked good. He's been excellent. Recoveries, tackling, passing. Just keeping possession, keeping things ticking. First time passes, one touch. Lavia is going to be very key for us this year. And as long as he can stay fit, I think that when I look at this team, I kind of feel like certain people are really gonna have to like fight for their position. I can definitely see Caicedo playing in this team. I can see Enzo playing in this team, Drewsbury Hall playing in this team, obviously Lavia in this team. But no one, for me, no one should be a guarantee but Lavia at this point because he's honestly been our best midfielder. Off the ball, on the ball, he's been good. So Romeo Lavia is definitely going to be one of the ones to watch for us next season because I just hope he's going to just carry on this preseason form, go into the season and just show us what you got. I think we've definitely missed his quality in midfield, and I'm just excited to see this guy play football. We wanted him for a few seasons now. We finally got him last year. He was unavailable, but it is what it is. He's been our best midfielder, and I am so excited about what he's going to offer us when the season starts. Now, my second point is that Nkunku in that false nine role just didn't look good. It didn't look great. And I think we all honestly know that he plays better either in a slightly deeper role, more freedom to move, build attacks, be involved in play. I think that's his biggest strength and his attribute. But him just being up there without really getting like the service around him kind of just made everything just not flow as well. And again, there's going to be games when you might just have to play him there and he's intelligent enough to be able to play that role, right? But you're going to have to create chances for him. He happens to be one of our best chance creators in this league. I mean, in this team. He happens to be one of the guys who can actually facilitate other people. So if you're going to expect him to finish off a lot of these moves, then you're going to have to create some chances for him. And I don't really think he had a lot of that opportunity yesterday, but that's okay. Again, it's preseason. You're trying to play people in certain positions. Mikhailo Mudryk was playing on the right. And, funny enough, like, and this is just switching from Nkunku for a minute, just talking about players playing in different roles. Like, I always kind of felt if, Mudryk ever had like a chance to play on the right, how it would look. And again, it's only one game, so I can't really fault it, but it didn't look great. But again, that's got to be consistency in that. But coming back to Nkunku, I just don't think the number 9 role is for him. I think he plays better off of others where he can be a lot dangerous. Central areas, that's his thing. But we'll see how we play against Madrid. But again, quality player, someone who I also hope and pray he stays fit because he's also another guy that I think had we had him last year, we would have done a lot better than we did. I think out of the forwards we have in this team, he's the most clinical. Like he's the most lethal out of all of them. And he happens to be the one that kind of gets injured a lot more than all of them as well. But he plays better, deeper. Hopefully he stays fit and we can see, the output. We can see his just how he makes this team better and, those around him. My third point is we need a clinical goal scorer. And that's something I've said in my previous videos. I think we just need somebody who can put the ball in the back of the net. We need a goal scorer because Gil had a chance. A competent enough goal scorer scores that, and it's just a few other chances that, as of even last year, we've created some decent chances, but the conversion wasn't really there. And again, hopefully by this week we get some major developments on the Osimhen deal. If it's not him, get somebody who can score goals. Like I know, people want to play this, tiki taka. You want to play possession style football, but at the end of the day, you need someone to score goals. And I hope we get a goal scorer because even without one really, because like I think Jackson had a great season last year. Phenomenal. For a first season, about 17, 18 goals, 20, 21 goals and assists in all comps. That's great, right? Because people didn't even know what to expect of him. But I think this is a year where if we're trying to break into like the Champions League spots, we need someone who's clinical. I've said this again. You need the person who's going to be the difference between all 3 points or getting you a point, and there's been a few games last year where if we had someone who could just score, there's a lot of games we lost that we could have tied to get a point. There's a lot of games we drew that we could have won comfortably. So that's one of the biggest and the key additions that I would like to see to this team. And it is kind of sad that like, Chelsea spent this much money and you could barely pick out like the quality goal scorers in this team or the clinical ones. So I think that's the biggest thing we need to be looking for. And we still have a few, weeks to the window being over. So we'll see who they can add. But a goal scorer is definitely needed into this team. Now, my next point, which is the fourth point, I just think our defensive structure has to be a lot better. Um, I didn't really like Gusto playing in the role he did yesterday. I think he was fine when he was inverting last game, and everything just kind of just looked a lot easy, and everything just was working. And again, I understand the manager probably wants to like try something different, see if Gusto can, offer us another option in a different role. But I think our structure needs to be better because a lot of the times we just kept making silly mistakes. We couldn't recover the balls. We couldn't track, runners. It was not great to see last night. But again, this all comes, like I said, it comes with just this is something new. This is something they're learning. So it's going to take some time to perfect that. But the structure has to be better. Um, and one of the like the ongoing conversations goes about like Levi Cowell and if he's a good enough defender. Look, at the end of the day, the kid is only like 20. How old is Levi Cole again? Probably like 21, 22. So he's still young, he's still improving. And he's still developing his game at the end of the day, you know. But I think we could still do a lot better in certain situations, certain positions. The defender could be a lot better. There were a few times when Reece James just kept playing the ball into players who had two other people on them. Like I think that's one of those things we need to definitely cut out. I know you want to play from the back, you want to be able to play in pressure, but there's no point doing that if you know you might concede. Like if someone is marked by two other guys, find another option, still retain the ball, but don't be you're almost putting other people in situations where once the opposition gets that ball, they have a free run to the goal to either score or get a shot on target. So the structure definitely needs to improve. Tolson didn't look great yesterday. Um, Reece James, the switch, the diagonals just kept catching him, out. That didn't look great. Did Badia Chile start yesterday's game? Now I can't even remember. But again, all in all, I'm just saying the structure needs to be better. Um, and we're gonna get tested when we play, the Real Madrids, the Inter Milans. I want to see how different it would be. But again, that's just something that is gonna come with time. And then I think the final thing for me is just we need consistency because I think we had a decent game, the game prior. So naturally, the hope and expectation is you kind of just move forward with kind of the same system, maybe the same players who started that game, and you could switch it up. But again, he switched it. He went with a different option. Cool. You can do that when it's preseason. This is the time for you to be able to learn these things. But we still need to find some consistency because in as much as like your preseason form might not affect your early season form, it still kind of builds momentum. Because when you're consistently like now, if you're consistent and you're doing certain things and they keep working and they keep working and you keep working on it, then it becomes second nature. So I think that we have a few games coming in to see if we can build some of that consistency. But for now, again, I get it. I think it's going to be um I think it's just going to be you know a slippery slope. Like it's going to be up and down. It's going to be up and down. But we definitely need to improve our structure. We definitely need to be consistent. And again, I'm not too worried. Like I think the performances are going to get better. I think the players are going to understand each other better. And I could just hope that like we do make the additions that we can. Um, into this game. But again, credit to Man City. This is still a Pep Guardiola coach, team. They like regardless of who plays, and we've been told Man City's academy happens to be one of the best in the country. So then you have to respect the players that come out of that academy. Not that I'm saying a lot of these big teams will have some of these guys, absolutely not. But your Oscar Bob's good player. Like we're not going to just act like he turned it on yesterday because it's against Chelsea. No, he's a good player. He played for their first team last year. Not as many games, but guess what? He still made a difference and he still won them some big points. So it is what it is. I think Man City, credit to Guardiola, regardless of, like I said, whoever comes in, they still have a structure. They understand how they need to play. Um, so it's not something to really be all down and out about, but I definitely want to see some improvements. Hopefully, we can get some improvements. But again, all these questions will be answered in the next couple of games. But again, Thanks for, watching the video, guys. Thanks for subbing to the channel. I definitely want to get up to like 60 subs by the time the season starts. I think the Community Shield is next week. I want to get up to 60 subs before then, and hopefully we can get up to 100 before the season starts, and then we just keep the numbers going. So please, if you enjoy the content I'm putting out, if you don't like something I'm saying, say something in the comments. But thanks so much for watching the channel. Thanks for the support as well. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.